Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Good morning.
Hey, we're back.
We are lovely wedding in northern New Mexico.
Yeah.
And family, lots of eating.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny whenever I don't know about you out there in listener land, but when you get the whole family together and it's like, I'm going to do this meal, I'm going to do this meal, I'm going to do this meal, there is so much food left over.
Yeah.
And it's as we were getting everything cleaned out, it's like there's a whole refrigerator full of food.
Yeah.
Now what do we do?
Right. Yeah. And I got to do a little fishing. We had a little boys outing on Thursday.
With just the guys. That was
Yeah.
kind of like the bachelor.
Yeah, we'll call it the bachelor
but
outing.
I think that Jamie was the only one that was the
that's my nephew.
bachelor. Everyone else was married and
well, that's true.
Yeah.
No, it was not billed as a bachelor get out or getaway, but it turned out kind of to be that way. And it was a really incredible day of fishing. We had a high altitude lake, and so it was just the trout fishing was outstanding. Just one solid fish after another, and so it was a really fun day that way, and great to spend some time. I was in a boat with my nephew, who's the one who got married, and so it was really great time. Yeah.
Yep. And then drive it's like a 9-hour drive on the way back, and brought Jim's mom with us. So she's here visiting, has never been here before. So really happy about that. What do we got going on in the industry?
Well, we got TIADA in Texas kicks off. I forget where they're
last
doing
night
that
was the reception that they do, but today's the first full day.
Yep. So that's all happening in Texas. I'm seeing some stuff on social media. A lot of the dealers that we know, and of course, industry people are there. Wish we could be there, but it just wasn't in the cards with the New
wedding.
Mexico and that whole thing. And then, of course, Carolinas, they kick off on the 1st with that mastermind event. I should throw on the screen. Don't forget, if you're still not booked for that, you still want to go to that mastermind event, don't forget they create a special coupon code
so
for us.
it takes care of your ticket.
Get yourself a free
registration. Coupon code BHPH MS for morning show.
Right.
So
so that throw that in there and be sure and attend that on August 1st, and then stick around for a couple days for the Carolinas Association event in Myrtle Beach. So that should be a good time.
Myrtle Beach is
really we're excited
pretty
to hear that. With so many good things we hear. Of course, we've had Troy Spring on. We had Tracy Myers. We're part of that mastermind event, and really looking forward to hearing how that goes. I'm sure it'll be an outstanding day for
we hear really good things about it.
And also, I saw on social media, it's Jimmy Rambo's birthday today.
Is it Jimmy Rambo from
Jimmy.
Spartan?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Send him a note.
Yeah.
And wish him a happy birthday. And so I've already done so, got a message out to him. But then, I think that's it, Michelle. I think the other updates I wanted to kind of, and this is our big topic for the day, was kind of updates. And of course, we've been away, haven't followed up with the folks, but they can look for that to be happening this week. We'll be touching base with everybody on the DMS thing. We covered this a few weeks ago, and we were able to talk to a lot of the industry providers, DMS providers in particular, at the NIADA convention. Lots of willingness to step in and provide that for dealers. So,
and what is that we are speaking of?
So that is we're starting with a BHPH and LHPH portfolio summary report. And I've talked about this thing on the podcast, not necessarily with that name, but we called it a White Hat Way portfolio summary report just because we want to be able to point dealers, hey, go run in your DMS. Once it's created, go run this White Hat Way portfolio summary report, and they will be able to get a nice rundown on opening balance, what was added, what was subtracted, and kind of a quick
and closing balance.
A quick summary on what, and it just it's one of those things that we just started there as kind of a step one. Let's get this for dealers. And so this is, I think, this for me is kind of what it's becoming more and more clear, I think, for us all the time about what White Hat Way can be in this industry. And that's something that we are being a voice on behalf of dealers saying, look, let's do this to make dealers' lives easier. Let's help them get to better information. And so now just a quick update from the DMS providers. As of today, we don't have anybody that has officially
finished it. When you do, we've
Yeah.
told them that they'll be on the show, so they can kind of talk about it. But that there's a good handful of providers that are have been willing to, that are working on it. And we've touched base a few times with a few of them, and they're like, yep, we're working on it. Yep, we're working on it. And part of the challenge though is that Jim's like, these are the specific things, and it needs to balance.
Right.
It needs to balance, because a dealer needs to have those kind of numbers and have them balance. And are these the same numbers as what you're using in V8 that you're seeing?
Well, definitely some of the numbers that are in that would certainly be amongst the ones we would be bringing over, because that's one of the anchor pieces of what any management performance report would include, is some rundown on collections performance, like portfolio performance. So I've shared with everybody, this is part of the reason that we want this, and we want this for every dealer, whether they're a V8 member or not, or whether they're NIADA member or not. Like, we want all dealers to be able to have this information, because it's one of the first elements to monitoring portfolio performance, which is the largest asset in our business. We need to know how it's doing, and we need to have apples to apples when we're in a 20 group or whatever else. We need to make sure we've got good information to compare to. So I get some of the challenges in doing that, because you're actually pulling data from a few different modules in most systems, but it's got to be done.
It's possible. It just requires a little bit of engineering to pull the right things together. And that's something that we're asking. It is available to any dealer. You don't have to be our client. You don't have to be a member of VA. You don't have to be even a member of your state association. This is just something that is in Jim's. You've been consulting and a dealer and all of that it's been a 25 year. It's been 25 years now.
I don't know.
Something like that. It's more than 2 decades.
It is.
So it's stuff that when Jim has been working with his consulting or his clients, this is the beginning. This is like the foundational pieces of what he helps them put together for them to see these are the numbers, and this is the stuff that we should be looking at.
And I created a template, which we shared on the morning show in the past, but I created a template to be able to send to dealers when we're starting to work with them or starting to do some cash flow forecasting or whatever. I will send them a template, say, give me at least the last 3 months of history. 12 months is better. Like, the template is built to go back 12 months. But when the numbers come back from them, they're so screwy, all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, they don't nowhere close to balancing.
Well, and I think that part of the challenge too is that, and it's you've seen this in V8 because it's been more in mass of multiple dealers, is even dealers that have been in the business for a really long time. They've kind of put things together and figured out the things that kind of matter to them a little bit to watch. But there's because there's such a lack of standardization in the industry, and like training, because as far as what's important to be looking at and how you get it. I know that we've seen NIADA, they do these are the numbers, and but it's not something that they'll say, this is where you go and this is how you get to it. It's just they're compiling the numbers from all of the dealers that they work with in 20 groups, and so then give you a global aggregate of the stuff. But Jim's been working really hard for a long time to try to, these are the numbers, and here's how you get it. So it's not just here, let me give this all to you, but it's like, this is how you get it. And this is how you read it.
This is why it matters. It definitely matters. And this is why you're going to see us persist on this. And I think, we've shared that we're going to, as you touched on, we're going to invite the DMS providers to the podcast. We've extended that. And so we extended that invitation openly to all DMS providers, as many as we had that information on. Since then, we've updated and extended the.
Did you want to go through the list?
I do. I want to give a quick update on kind of where we stand and the latest conversation with any of these. And some of these conversations really haven't gone anywhere since the conference. But of the ones that some of them this is going to be a partial list, but this is certainly going to be representative of the ones that I think this list is of all the dealers that we have in our V8, for example,
Yeah.
every DMS
It
provider is
is
represented. On
represented.
this list.
Well, and so that's a great place to just kind of really
Yeah.
focus on starting, because, you know, we want people that are bringing in their numbers for V8 to they're good solid numbers, and you know that
Right, that's a good
they're
place to
getting a
start.
good
It's just
foundation. Yeah.
for dealers anywhere. I want them to have this information. It's just like, it's kind of like I said, step
Yeah.
one. So Automasters or AMS, of course, everybody knows
Downey.
Mike Downey over
Mhm.
there, and so we did talk to Mike Downey at the conference.
And
was
we have reached out to them since, and they're like, "Yep, we're working on it." Yep.
Yeah, he
Yep.
intends to do it. We haven't had any dialogue from them. I don't know what their status
last,
is on that, but I
week
do
and a
know
half
that
or
he
so. Yeah.
has intention of doing that, and we look forward to being able to bring
Yep.
Mike on the broadcast once we've got that squared away and working. And then
The folks at
DCS, Dealer Controlled Solutions, that's formerly AFS, formerly DCL. They kind of changed their name because they do both leasing and buy here, pay here. So DCS is Dealer Controlled Solutions, and they
that was the one that
we're actively working on it. We've had a couple of email exchanges with them. I know they expect to produce that, and I every indication is they will be one of the first ones to produce that. And then
and
Fraser,
they do just that's that you mentioned the prior name, but they're also one of the DMSs that does both buy here, pay here, and lease here, pay here,
right?
Too.
Yep. And so we're hopeful that they'll be able to bring that together for both the lease here, pay here, and the buy here, pay here side. Right now, we're primarily focused on the buy here, pay here side, but it really, in theory, it's going to work the same. You're just trying to reconcile the principal balance in your portfolio, which every balance sheet would have to have that, an opening and closing principal balance. So I would hope that they would be able to get to that. And then Fraser was the other one that we spoke to.
Yeah.
I think for our Fraser users, I can tell you based on the dialogue we've had with them, is we don't look for that to happen in 2024.
No. Yeah. They're working on some internal stuff to update the entire system.
Shouldn't announce, but
but they're aware.
They shared that they've got some other priorities right now, and that they're aware. And so we'll see. But I would just tell your Fraser users out there that don't look for that to happen in 2024 on that system. And then Dealer Center that's the folks who I'm hesitant to say the things I've heard about their relationship with Westlake. Dealer Center is the one that was originally created as kind of a product from Westlake, but what their relationship is now, I can't be sure. But Dealer Center is they've shown a lot of willingness to cooperate and advisory type stuff with helping them set up their buy here, pay here reports. And so we're available to do that. Just know that if you're a Dealer Center user, we've said to the folks at Dealer Center, we're available to help to formulate buy here, pay here reports, because at this point I've worked in buy here, pay here reports for my career, which goes back to, from a consulting standpoint, goes back to 2000. I was a manager dealer before that. So it's so the history with that goes a long way back, and I would just say that we're happy to help based on what we know and kind of what pieces we would recommend get tied together. So that's the latest with them. DealPack and Abcoa, I can tell you that we had meetings with DealPack. DealPack was one of the ones who stepped up and said we're happy to participate in that. And then I did have a virtual meeting with one of the developers who they kind of assigned to the project. And that was the Monday after the conference. And I know they were going to work on it, but I haven't heard anything since. And I'll be following up with them this week. IDMS is, that's the Solera product, formerly Finance Express, and IDMS have, they introduced me to the developer who would kind of be the one to drive that, or a CSM, I think is actually who they introduced me to, but I haven't heard anything back from the CSM on any of that. So I don't have any information that suggests that that's moving forward. I will say about IDMS, I currently can reconcile principal balance in a portfolio. I know which reports to tell dealers to run, to be able to balance. That's still not going to be good enough. We want dealers to be able to have that in a summary.
Weren't you just telling me this morning that one of the dealers that we have on V8 that is on IDMS just reported that, it took me 15 minutes to pull all the stuff together that you need, because it's, you know where to send them and what to look for. And so the numbers on that were pretty easy to submit.
And I think we touched on this before, we're trying to be at plus or minus 1%, but some of these You think about
portfolios are
1%
so
of a
big.
$25
Yeah.
million portfolio.
Yeah.
It's a big
We
number.
talked about that. Was it last week or the week before
Yeah.
that 1%? I think that one of the dealer that you showed was like 1.1 or
1.3 or
something, and it was still $300,000.
Yeah.
That it was like, it's not
I'm
balancing.
not sure where
Yeah.
those numbers are,
Yeah.
what report
It
I
should
run to get
balance,
there. Yeah.
but
So
yeah.
this is why we're going to persist.
Yeah.
This is something that can't go away. We got to keep talking about this until dealers have this information.
Well, and it's part of it too, is that the thread that is woven into so much of what we talk about is you can't fix what you don't measure. And so you really have to understand the moving pieces and the balance things out so that you can get a good feel for, as you're tracking. It's like there was a spike. What happened that month? And and let's fix the thing. And
some of that's fixing. Some of it's also just identifying leakage, which doesn't have to be theft. But when you've got money that's not being identified, and you can't be sure, like you said, from a management standpoint, you can't be sure where it is in your business, in your operation. And so this is why we want to help dealers identify leakage and make sure, because they're working so hard and taking so much risk to do the job that they're doing. And we want to make sure that we put information in front of them that helps make it easier.
Especially in the industry with how much risk businesses are doing. It's like because it's a risky business.
Sure.
You don't want to leave things to chance as much, keeping things tight and steady.
Of course. And then the last one I didn't mention here, and this is hardly all of the DMS providers, but these are the ones that we've either had direct dialogue with, or that certainly represent most of the dealers. There's probably, dozens more DMS providers out there that we're not listing here, but the last one for me was the Wayne Reeves system.
Yeah, we talked to a couple of the Reeves.
Yeah, they're a very popular
really
system in the Southeast in particular.
They're
I was thinking they were out of Florida, but I guess they're out of Georgia. I'll find out. Somebody will correct me on that. But anyway, we're able to meet with Jason and Pierce out there, and they do express a willingness to try to make that happen. And so we'll continue to work with them. And again, I'll get an update out to everybody today and just kind of ask them to give us a progress report so we can kind of keep our listeners informed about where we're at with that. And I think we'll just try to continue to educate on why this number matters. Like, why are we persisting? And also we'll talk about in the same context, what puts White Hat Way in a position to make a difference there? Because when I go out there and ask for the stuff, we're asking for it under the banner of White Hat Way. We copied our founding sponsors. I'll copy the founding sponsors again when we send the thing out, for follow-up and kind of get a status report. Because this is where I think White Hat Way, and I realize this is a Monday, but listen, as I keep saying, White Hat Way is not just for Wednesdays anymore. White Hat Way's got a lot of work to do, and we're going to be, continuing to kind of do that work. And so this is one of those examples. It's the first example we have formulated, and we'll touch on it a little bit on Wednesday, but we have formulated a structure that we're excited to share. We're going to work with our team first and try to figure out, what's the path to get there. But I'm just going to tell you, we have formulated a tool that the industry is, and this little piece that we're talking about here is one piece of a larger tool that can really make a huge difference.
And there's a lot of other, there are things that you've built too. And it's funny because we've shown different spreadsheets and things as we've gone along of this is how we track this, and being able to take it for 3 years and 5 years and see how the things work. So many people are like, I want the spreadsheet, and it's like,
well,
yeah.
So there's sometimes some confusion. I think when they reach out about that spreadsheet, they think I can send them the master kind of cash flow forecasting spreadsheet that I built is really probably the one you're referring to. And while it is proprietary and we charge for, walking them through that, the main thing is it's just not really built to be user managed. It's just not. There are too many pieces that when you change one, you would have to understand how that impacts 2 and 3. And it's not built in a way that it can, do all those things without some manual participation from
And
somebody with
someone that
experience.
understands deeply the numbers.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah.
it's not that we're
Mhm.
trying to necessarily profit from it. We'd love to be able to make that tool available to everybody. It's just challenging because you can't, would you ever get there? Perhaps. It's just that it's challenging to help people understand why when you change lever number one,
Mhm.
you have to have a way to know how that impacts these other pieces. And
Yeah.
so it's just, it's experience that is required in that case to really, build something that's going to be reliable.
It sounds like that. What do they say? The analogy of a woman's brain and a man's brain. A man can pull, if you had a bunch of boxes on a wall, a man can pull out a box and put it back, and it doesn't affect any of the other boxes. But when a woman, you pull out a box, there are 17 other boxes that come out with it because it's all interconnected in how women think. But this spreadsheet's similar to that.
Yeah.
It's like there's lots of pieces.
There's a whole conversation. Let's save that for later. But
it's very true. Well, that's why they say that it's not possible for someone to multitask and have more than one tab open at a time.
Oh yeah,
that is not true for women.
Okay,
it's just not. It might be true for men, and I understand it because there's a different way that men are from Mars, women are from Venus, all of the stuff. But yeah,
I'm past putting people in boxes, so no, it's all good. I think it's all good. We can wrap up for today. I don't have anything else necessarily. Okay. Just a reminder again on that. Let me throw that.
Oh yeah, for the if you're in the Carolinas and can head out to that they call it a mastermind.
Yeah, it's the Unfair Advantage Dealer Mastermind Group.
And we have heard such great things about it from dealer friends of ours, and that it's really dealers are the ones that are they're leading the conversations, and they'll have some experts there, but for the most part it's like dealers talking to other dealers about what has worked for you, what
if you're a dealer on the fence and you're within a few hours drive or whatever that may be, just hop free on YouTube, search Troy Spring on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show, search Tracy Myers on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show, and they will help you understand why it's really important for dealers to get there. They're going to see a lot of value and a lot of benefit out of that.
So and shout out, I bet you everyone's in full swing down in Texas for TIADA first full day. Really a great conference, and we hope y'all have a great conference and learn an awful lot and connect and all of that.
The people who come to mind, obviously Mark Jones is the former president.
Russell
Moore, I saw he's on the board out there. You got Ryan Winkleman, who I think has probably moved away from the president. I don't know Ryan's role, but there's Tyler Simmons is speaking out there. So shout out to those folks. Wish we could be there to enjoy a beverage with you and get educated, but we'll probably see you next time around.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else?
I don't think
so. That's it.
Let's wrap it up.
I wasn't, so there you go. They're ready. Thank you so much for joining. It's Monday, and we know that you guys have an awful lot that's going on, and you're probably busy looking at everything that happened last week on in your DMSs. So thank you for making us a part of your day. And be watching. We'll keep you updated on where we're at with the conversation, with the reporting through DMSs. And if you've got something that you would like to hear us bring together, some people that are experts or whatever, feel free to reach out and comment.
I didn't share the title here, but we already have our Wednesday and Friday topics. Wednesday's going to be around accounting, which you can kind of tie back into some of what we're talking about here. And then Friday, we're talking about expenses, posting of expenses.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a great day, everybody. Thanks again.